How do you handle a flood of inquiries coming through your website without things falling through the cracks? Whether it's potential new clients, new projects, speaking opportunities, partnerships, or just general inquiries coming through your website, having the right system in place can help streamline the process, reduce stress, and make sure things just don't slip through the cracks. In my previous video, I shared about a 6-week accelerator opportunity I'm launching for new or early stage solo entrepreneurs who want to get started on the right foot and build a foundation for their consulting, coaching, or creative business. And in today's video, I'm going to share the exact process and system that I built out for myself to manage all of the interest for the program. And I won't just walk us through step by step in this video, but I'll actually include the templates in the description for the video so you can implement this same system for your own business, perhaps a program or a productized service, or just the general forms that are coming in through your website. So I'm excited about this video. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so I have my 6-week accelerator page pulled up, and we're going to use this as an example for our demo. And so for my page, I have on the left, I have a video that I did some custom work on so that this kind of gave people a intro to what the service I'm providing is. And then on the right here, we have the title and some information about the accelerator. If we click the button, we can fill out the interest form. And if we click Learn More, it has all the information about the accelerator, and it has frequently asked questions. And then ultimately, I want people to fill out this interest form. I did actually consider just having a Stripe link so that someone can make a purchase, but I really wanted to curate who was participating in this group to make sure that the people in the group are a right fit for the program, as well as a right fit to work with one another. So when someone fills out this form, it is going to do two things. It's going to take this information and bring it into Airtable, and it's going to essentially function as like my CRM so that I can manage the people who are interested in the accelerator. And then it's going to redirect people to a calendar link so they can schedule a 10-minute call with me to discuss the program and if it's the right fit. And that's all done automatically, right? So I'm not spending time managing this process. I'm spending time having conversations and nurturing relationships with the people who are interested. So if we click I'm interested, we fill out the form, it's going to bring it into an Airtable base similar to this, right? So this is obviously the demo, and I have a test record here. So the fields I have in this Airtable are first name, last name, and then I have a formula that combines those, right? And I like to have first names separate so that if I write an automated email or something, I can say, hey, first name. Then I have email. I have a question with the answer. I have a phone number. I have the status of the application and with information about kind of the stages of the life cycle of that application, and then a checkbox where I have people just make sure that they're able to commit to the cost for the program. So that's where the data lives, and then I have an interface built out that essentially makes this an app. So the first tab in this app is a Kanban board where left to right, I can manage people on a kind of like a Trello-like Kanban board. If I click into these, it feels very much like Notion, where I have first name, last name. This is all information from that intake form, along with my own notes. So in the second tab of this app, I can kind of, if there was a dozen here, I can click which one I want to look at and just pull up just that information. And I actually use this as my call notes. So sometimes I'll actually have a template here, and then I'll type in my notes from the call. So everything is right there. And if I'm, let's say I have a dozen people interested, I need to be able to kind of keep people straight, right? If I'm only doing a 10-minute call with someone, it could be easy to confuse different people, right? So if I do my diligence to keep good notes, then all of this should be really easy for me to track. So that is how Airtable is serving the process. So here's my example that I'm using for my own business. Right? And what I did was I actually created a demo version that I can share with you. And so I wrote my own sales page, right? But I had ChatGPT take it and come up with an example for someone who would also do this, right? So this example is for someone who helps people with podcasting, right? This is a podcast launch accelerator. And this, if we go to learn more, this actually turned out really great, right? This is something that someone could actually run with. You could offer a blueprint, guiding people through their production setup, launch and distribution package, promotion and growth toolkit, scalable, repeatable process, cost. This is something that if you were in this line of work, you could truly do. I actually started a podcast, and when I started my podcast, I hired a friend of mine and was in his podcast launch accelerator. So this is very realistic that you could take this and think about how would you apply it to the work that you do. So ultimately, we want people to click this button and show that they're interested. They'll fill out first name, last name, email. They'll answer a question. They'll check a checkbox. So we go to the back end. If you were to save this template in your own account, you're going to open it up and you're going to be right here. And the one thing that's important to note about Card, which there's other videos about Card on my channel. So if you want to learn more about Card, it's a wonderful one-page website builder. It's what we're using in this demo. Essentially, because it's a one-page website builder, we mimic what it feels like to click on buttons and open up new pages. And we do that by this control element. We click plus, we add a control, and then we choose section break. And what that allows us to do is on our page to go ahead and click FAQs, and then we find ourselves on the FAQ page. So for example here, learn more, this button goes to the about section break, and this is the about section break. So anything below here until the next one is like the about page. So it's important to know when you're building out a Card site. So we want to really focus in on this form, and forms are important. I heard a joke once about how life is just filling out forms, right? I think a comedian, and it's kind of true. But this is how you're likely going to get information from those who are interested in potentially working with you. And so for this program, we want people to fill out this form. We click the form, we go to the second tab, Fields. We can see that we have these 5 form fields. And the first one is first, as in first name. The ID is first, and the Airtable field name is first. And I really encourage us to keep these consistent because we're not just filling out a form, we're taking this form data and bringing it into Airtable. So we need consistency with how we name the fields. So first name, field, ID is first, Airtable field name is first, same thing for last. You can see these are all consistent. Email, this is a email type field, but the label's email, ID, Airtable field name is email. This is a question, so it's a text area element, but ultimately the ID and the Airtable field names are the exact same. So we go over to Airtable, and we can see that these are the name of my fields, first, last, email, and so forth. And this is really important because we're going to bring this data in the Airtable. So how do we do it? Well, the wonderful thing is Card has a direct integration with Airtable that allows us to bring in that data. We don't necessarily have to use something like Zapier or Make, which from time to time I'll use for specific use cases. But if we click the form, we go to this first settings tab, type, we can do a contact form, we can do a sign up form, or we can send to Airtable. We can do a bunch of other things. So to send to Airtable, we're going to need to give Card some information. We need 3 things. We need personal access token. It's essentially like your password for connecting these services. We'll need the base ID. For me, this is this 6-week accelerator demo base. And then we actually need the table within this. So if we had a dozen tables, we would need this specific one. So we go over to card. There's links that help you do this. So I'll walk you through it. So to get our personal access token, we're going to go to Airtable. We're going to click our image, go to our account. And in this yellow section, API, we go to Developer Hub. You don't need to know too much about this, but we're going to create a token. And I created a token right here, program demo. Let's create another one just to walk through the process. Program demo 2. Scopes are the things that we're allowing card to do now that we've given this information to card. And we really only need to create, edit, and delete records. We're going to choose accelerator demo, create token. We're going to copy it. We're going to bring it over to card. We're going to place it right here. We're going to need to grab the base ID. So if we are in our browser using card, we go up to the URL. What starts with APP, that is going to be the ID for the base. And then if we go to that same URL, we are going to get the table, and that's going to start with TBL. And it's really important that you do the table ID. Right here it says you can also do the name, but if we were to change the name of this table, it's going to break our automation. And if you're working on a team, someone could easily, innocently change the name and it would break things. So we want to use the ID. And that's it. So we have our 3 things. And that would take our information and it's going to bring it into Airtable. So I'm going to copy this and just show you what this will look like. It'll just give us a message, right? So let's go ahead, publish changes. Let's go to our page. I'm going to show I'm interested, test, let's do like Mike Jones, email address. We're building a new mental health podcast. I'm going to check the box, click submit. Now this should just tell us, that thank you, right? Success. Now we go over to our Airtable base. Boom, really, really quickly, right? We have Mike Jones, the email, and the question. We don't have the phone number yet because we didn't ask the phone number, but we know that they checked the box, and by default, I chose that application received as the default option amongst all these, right? So now we have our interface with 2 options, right? And if we were to set test Pritzkow to right fit, now we have 2 things. We can drag these back and forth, see? So this is how this works. So great, we have this in here. The thing we don't have is we didn't schedule a call. So next we're going to automate this person scheduling a call on our calendar. So we had to save the back and forth of what time can you meet? Oh, I can't meet then. For a program like this, it's very reasonable to have someone just book a time, right? And show that they're interested. So to do that, we're going to use a wonderful tool called Kale.com. You could do something like this in Calendly. I've just learned that Kale.com has so much more functionality for free. So a lot of the things that I would show you right here in Calendly, you'd have to be on their paid tier. So we're going to do this in Kale.com. So I already created a calendar link. This is pretty straightforward. And I'll show you the settings. So this is my demo interest call link. We're going to go to availability. I opened up my availability pretty wide for this because I want to get this, my own personal accelerator, started, within the next couple of weeks. So I opened up my calendar, and really, if someone was interested, I want to, chat with them while they're, excited about the program. You could place limits on when you're booked. There's some advanced settings here. I don't think I changed anything here other than here are my booking questions. I want to do a phone call, not a Google Meet or a Zoom, but you can do a Google Meet or Zoom. But personally, I just want to jump on a quick 10-minute phone call. And all I need is their phone number. I do ask for their email address and their name, but I'll show you, I actually pre-fill those fields because we already asked them their email, we already asked them their name, and we don't want to ask them again, just for respect, right? But also, I want to make sure that the person who filled out that form and the person who scheduled the call are the same person. Like I want to make sure that my own system knows that these are the same information. So I'll show you how I did that. So we go to card and we click our form. Instead of display a message, we want to redirect to our URL. And so here's kale.com/my name/interest call. I am going to change it to interest call demo for the sake of our purpose, right? So interest call demo. Let's go over here. Sorry, I'm zooming around. I'm going to go interest call demo. And now, I won't go too deep into this, but what kale.com allows you to do is to append data on this URL here. So after what the URL that they give us right here, we can append some what's called UTM parameters. These are just like some information that we want to pass along with the URL. And kale.com allows us to say name equals, and then card allows us to say first space last. So that's going to take the first name and last name from this form field right here, and it's going to pass it along with the URL once they fill out the form. Same, and email, and this is why it's really important to keep those IDs consistent, is email equals email, right? Keep this nice and simple. And that's all we pass along. We pass the first, last name, and email. And so I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to save this because we updated our URL. We're going to go to that new page. So we're going to say I'm interested. We're going to say Susie Smith. I'll use my email address for the test. Susie is building a podcast for bicycle enthusiasts, of course. And check the checkbox, click submit. And now we're not going to get that thank you message. We get brought right over here to our calendar scheduling page, right? And if we look at the URL, we're going to see that name, Susie Smith, and the email, right? So that information got passed along with our calendar link. And we're going to book a time for tomorrow at 9:20 a.m. And look, Susie Smith is here, and kale.com actually prevents us from changing this now. I said that I want this to be hidden, right? So if we go to our advanced settings, I said that last name, your name, disable input if the URL identifier is pre-filled. So we pre-filled it, so it's not going to let the user change it. Same thing with the email address. Disable input if the URL identifier is pre-filled. So it's great. Like, if this person wanted to change their email address, they can't. And it's great because that would mess up my system, right? If they had an email address for the form, the email address for their schedule, that's not what we want, right? So all they need to do is put in their phone number. So they click confirm. This is an invalid phone number because it's a fake phone number. I don't want to put my real phone number on here. No offense, y'all. Oh, I have to do the character code. Okay. So we click confirm. Oh, it really doesn't like my fake number. Maybe let's block this out on the recording. Okay. So confirm. That is going to schedule the meeting. So I get an email, they get an email. We go over to Airtable and let's look. So now we have Susie Smith. She filled out the form. But the one thing we're not doing is we're not alerting Airtable that they scheduled a call, right? And I don't have their phone number in here. So I'll show you how I have this set up. I've really one automation. I also built a notification for myself. But we're going to update the form. So if we click, we're going to create a new automation. And when we create a new automation, we want the trigger type to be when webhook received. We're going to copy this webhook. So if we go over to cal.com and we go to webhooks in the settings, we can click new webhook and we are going to put our URL right here and enable it. And we only need booking created. So I'm going to say booking created. That's all we need. So create webhook. So here is what we're essentially setting up is when someone schedules an appointment in cal.com, it's going to tell Airtable that we got that that booking. And because the email addresses are the same, we know who booked that appointment, right? So go back to Airtable. So let's test the trigger. And let's see if this is, yeah, so this is the information that came from my booking. We're going to add a step that says find records. We're in the applications table. And the condition is when the email is, and we'll do this. We'll go to when webhook received, body. We need to find the email, the organizer email. Yeah, so this isn't the right test. So let's say we're going to test another one. So we'll go ahead and fill out my form. And really when you do this, you're going to see that you're probably going to create a couple test records. To make sure that we get that information. So we filled out our form, fill out another. Click confirm. And now our Airtable should say, oh, test another trigger. We got it. We're going to find when the organizer's email. There you want attendee email. All right, so we'll find email, and then we'll update the record. So we'll go to applications, we'll find the record ID. So we go +, find records, list of records. Airtable record ID. And then our phone is going to be the body of the webhook, payload, responses, phone, value. So boom, there we go. So we click save, and then I'm going to put in a new request. So I'll actually use my actual email address for this one so we can see it come through. I'm interested. Do Sean Pritzkow, Sean at seanpritzkow.com. Ice cream podcast. Click submit. And then we're going to schedule a call. Put my name, put my number. Click confirm. And then we go over to Airtable. Very quickly, we should see that, here we go. This was my new form that I just put through with my ice cream podcast. And here's my phone number. So now Airtable knows my phone number. You can go to interfaces. And here's my app, right? So we can go ahead and begin facilitating these phone calls. When I go to potentially make a phone call to these people, I know how to reach out to them. And we can change the status here and kind of move them along our process here, right? So we can manage when applications have come in, when, if they're a right fit or not, when they're pending payment, all these kind of things. You can use this in a way that helps you not let things slip through the cracks of people who are interested in joining your podcast accelerator program, right? And yeah, so I think that is it. Essentially, we have our page here in Card with a form linked up to Airtable. Airtable receives our data. And then once people fill out the form, they get redirected to a scheduling link right here. And that allows them to book time on the calendar. All right, so that is how you can build a similar system to manage those inquiries coming through your website and essentially automate, schedule, and streamline the process. And like I said, this is perfect if you're running something like a productized service business where you want to spend more time on delivering your service and less time on the administrative tasks just to potentially get someone to sign up, register, or purchase from you. Now, if you like this video, I'd love to invite you to subscribe to the channel. I post regular videos similar to this. And if you found this particularly helpful or you know someone this could benefit, feel free to share this video with them. I would love to be able to help more people. So thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you next week.